Well, good evening. It's Christian. It's the Everyday Alpha podcast. This is the 8:30 edition on 2/18/2005. Expecting a client or a guest to come on named Zach. Hopefully he'll be able to make it. In the meantime, I just wanted to talk in general, just kind of wanted to talk about my background, who I am, where I'm from, and why listen to Christian. Well, I've got over 25 years of medical background in healthcare, general medicine. I started out doing combat medicine in the United States Navy with the Marine Corps. You really learn a lot on how to be proficient, how to be detail oriented, how to really learn your craft. I went to the United States in the United States Navy. I'm sorry. I got out of the military and I went to the University of Missouri. I got a degree in nursing. I got a degree in respiratory therapy, and my whole goal was to help people. And I had life experiences as a son growing up in a really quite a good Midwestern middle class family. I had an older brother that I looked up to that I tried to compete with. Same with an older sister. Had a younger brother. We were expected to work and figure things out as we went along. Didn't necessarily have authoritarian parents, not at all. They definitely set us on a path and set some expectations for us to achieve. Some of us achieved better than others. When I was a teenager, I didn't have it all put together. I didn't know. I was not in the position that I am today. Obviously, life experience takes me down that road. But I think about a lot of experiences that I had growing up, a lot of experiences that I then had serving in the military, learning that discipline, learning what the expectations are, and then adhering to those expectations, living my life based upon positive expectations. You know, my medical background has led a lot to understanding science, understanding psychology, understanding just the human condition. And when I joined the medical man cave 4 years ago, I know I just raced a huge swath of my background and history. But when I joined the medical man cave 4 years ago, the goal was is to be a resource for these clients, a resource for these men, to be able to counsel them, talk to them. Why are you sitting here in front of me? What is it that you're interested in doing? The medical man cave offers a lot of improvements for men and women, but we do try and focus on the man. Men are hard to talk to. We're a pain in the ass sometimes, and we think we got it all figured out. But my job has evolved into someone who is a resource for that common guy, that guy that's not sure. He's 25 to 40 pounds overweight. He doesn't feel comfortable about himself. He's embarrassed about himself. Maybe he's losing some hair. Maybe his diet isn't very good. Maybe his intimacy with his wife. Heck, I got a lot of men who just got divorced and they call me up and they say, "Hey, I heard about your male enhancement procedure. I need to get back out in the game." And so we sit and we talk, and I have the ability to connect with these men in 35 to 45 minutes, garner some trust. My background is out in full force for these guys to know. I tell them where I am, where I've come from, and we talk about life experiences. I share with men my experiences at the Medical Man Cave myself, trying and doing all the things that we offer here at the Medical Man Cave, from hair restoration, which I've done, and I've got a pretty good coif of hair, to the male enhancement procedure, which I've done, to testosterone therapy replacement. I'm 50 years old. Your body changes. I've made massive, massive changes to my diet. I share these challenges and I share these experiences with my clients when it's appropriate. And we have a gigantic following here at the Medical Man Cave and in what it is that I'm doing for these men. I'm a resource. I'm a trusted confidant with enough medical background experience and enough experience in the industry to be able to say, let's talk about your problems, just you and me. Put them out there. It's a safe place. And that's the one thing that's interesting about, my background is I provide a safe place. It can be fun. It can be super serious. It's all protected. It's all right here in our conversations. But the clients that we have are clients for life. They are also relationships for life for me. I truly believe in what I'm doing. I went back to St. Louis just last weekend, ran into a bunch of friends that I went to high school with, played basketball together. Haven't seen for years. I mean, we're talking maybe a decade. But then here we all are sitting together talking about, hey, what are you doing? What have you been doing? Do you have a family? Do you have kids? And inevitably, they ask me what I do for a living. And I tell them I work in an upscale men's health clinic, and this is something that is of a passion of mine. And when they finally start asking me about my background, who am I, what do I do? I tell them, and I even tell them lightly, we do men's health, and I slip in the male enhancement because that's always a let's talk about that conversation. And it goes down that road. But really, in the end, most of my clients and most of my friends that I've reconnected with, we're 45 to 55 years old, all of us, and we're all struggling with, are we a little heavy? How's our sexual performance? How's our relationship with our wives? What's our relationship with our kids? Has it gone off the rails, and why? And so I open up all of those avenues to discuss with these men. And I'll give you a perfect example. I got an 18-year-old son sitting at home right now. He got sick. He got the flu or a norovirus or something, and he was throwing up. He was throwing up starting Sunday. Here we are on Tuesday. And I was telling him, hey, listen, if you're not throwing up anymore, and if you don't have a temperature anymore, then you're in a pretty good shape to where you can start going back to school and you can start going back to work. And he didn't agree with me, but you know what? For whatever reason, he didn't feel like that he wanted to verbalize that, hey, listen, I don't agree with you. I want to stay home from work and from school. So I told him, I said, hey, listen, I'm expecting you're going to school. If you have a problem, communicate with me. He didn't do that. Called his mom. His mom called him out. I talked to her tonight. She told me, oh yeah, I called that one out. He didn't go to school today, which is really interesting because when I came home from work today, I asked him flat out, hey, how was school today? Oh yeah, it was really good. It was good. Uh, yeah. And then he changed the subject. Then I assumed wrongly that he was being honest with me, but he wasn't. And then when I found out from his mom that she called him out, she and I talked. I was more annoyed and laughing, like, hey, I told Owen he's supposed to go to school and you called him out and you didn't even tell me you did that. So the point I'm making is communication and trust is the key. It really is the key. So he's 18 years old. I walked up there and I knocked on his door and I asked him to just come clean and be honest with me. And that's the big challenge is we as 45 to 55-year-old men, we have produced these teenagers. We have produced these youngsters. We've gotten to these relationships where we are stuck in these ruts and we don't know how to get out of the rut. Obviously, I'm in a rut right now with my 18-year-old son. And so how does that communication go? How does that conversation play out in your mind? I know how it played out in my mind, and I was pissed, but I had to just kind of take pissed down to just upset. And I went to his room and I talked to him. And I told him, I said, dude, you lied to me. I got your back for everything. I will always have your back, but you have to be brutally honest with me. And you weren't. And he was apologetic. He said, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Tried to explain himself. And at that point in time, I don't know how much explaining there is to do. You made that choice. You didn't want to have that communication with me. So how do we work on that communication with our teenage kids? It's hard. We are up against this monster right here. And this monster is not our friends. It's not your kids' friends. But yet, somewhere around 2010, all of us with kids, and I'm guilty of it, we've all said, oh, yeah, it's okay. we want to have communication with our kids because we want to be friends with our kids. And the reality is that device has caused more problem in society for our youth than anything we could ever possibly do. So at another time, I've got a really good message that I received from a really close friend of mine in regards to this, and I'll break that out and I'll read it. And it's heavy hitting. It's really a strong message to friends, family, relatives, parents everywhere, that it really comes down to us and our leadership on making sure that we put our kids on a path. And it starts early. It starts at age 4, 6. Because, how do you prepare a 4-year-old to be a 6-year-old? How do you prepare the 6-year-old to be an 8-year-old? And so it starts there. And we are the ones, husband and wife, have to be consistent. We have to set some principles and we have to walk those. So whether you buy into this or not, hey, I just come as real. I've been doing this now for a long time. I've got a lot of experiences. I'm a son, I'm a father, I'm a brother. I've had failures, I've had lots of successes. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is, yeah, I worked really hard with my kids when they were younger to set them on a path that is important to the Peterson name, the Christian Peterson, Elizabeth Peterson name. And my kids walk that path. They make mistakes. Yeah. Owen just made a mistake tonight. He freaking lied to me. Nuts. But my daughter's out in Grand Junction at college having the same exact symptoms because Colorado right now is being hammered by flu virus, norovirus, COVID virus. And so they're trying to figure it out. And the conversations that you have with those kids when or young adults, I should say, it's important to be there for them, but they still need coaching. They still need guidance. Do not think that because they're at college, they've figured this out. And certainly don't think because they're 18 in high school that they got this figured out. They need your consistent help and guidance. It's one of the main things I talk to with my clients who come to the Medical Man Cave every day, if it comes up. It doesn't always come up, but we definitely talk about how to maximize your outcomes for any of the procedures you do. And it all starts with nutrition. And nutrition starts with discipline. And discipline is consistency. And that's the same as being a parent. It all starts with consistency. It starts with discipline. It starts with messaging. And it starts in believing that what we're supposed to do is important. And it's important to us. It's important for our families. So I just want to leave that there with everybody. Catch us at the everydayalpha.com, Everyday Alpha podcast. Next time we will have Zach, a client, and a really interesting story he's going to tell. We've also got upcoming Rich. Rich is going to talk about how to start a business. He's going to tell some stories about some other really interesting stuff that's helpful to just parental building and just being a man and being responsible in society. Hopefully we'll have Carrie on. He's going to tell a great story about something that happened to him recently, which is pretty fantastic. And then we'll have TK on. Hopefully TK will come on and he'll talk about his experience at the Medical Man Cave, his relationship that changed due to what he did at the Medical Man Cave, and just, positive outcomes on being 45 to 55 in America and what we really as Gen Xers have to do to stay focused, stay healthy. That's the most important thing, and stay relevant. So that's what we'll be talking about next. Stay tuned. Looking forward to our next installment. All right. Everybody have a good night. Talk to you soon. Bye.